The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff or management of Worldwide Digital Broadcasting Corporation.
Hot topics, food, fun, entertainment, and serious business. Live Las Vegas with Rikki Cheese.
I am so pleased today to have North Las Vegas Mayor John Lee as my guest to talk about all of the good things that are coming out of North Las Vegas. Now, before the show, I admitted to him that I have a big chip on my shoulder when it comes to Las Vegas and North Las Vegas. I get tired of people putting my cities down. And now that everything is kind of coming back around, I think we need to celebrate the people who brought that success from some dire points and made it happen. So we're going to start with the big one because it's the most recent one. Faraday, the sky is falling. Oh my God, Faraday's not happening. It's, the worst thing. I was at that press conference when you first announced that Apex, the development of Apex was going to be critical to the redevelopment of North Las Vegas. But what was lost in that shuffle was Faraday wasn't the only project. There's a lot of stuff going on out there at Apex.
There's 18,000 acres out there, Rikki, and so Faraday was a great opportunity. They came in, they attracted so much attention in North Las Vegas. We never had anything in our budget that gave them anything special. The state had some abatements for them. In fact is, if Faraday sold their land today, it was great that they put North Las Vegas on the map, but all that land that they got those abatements on, it would now be generating taxes to North Las Vegas because the governor and they abated the sales tax and the personal property tax and a lot of taxes, So yes, I'm a big proponent of Faraday, and I think that the car of the future is in their sights. I hope they can build it wherever they can. But North Las Vegas was never contingent on Faraday.
And the best part about it was, that was some of the best free advertising you guys got. I mean, the whole world all of a sudden knew about North Las Vegas, where, before, it's sort of a small, sleepy little town that's kind of the engine that could. Let's talk about some of the other big accomplishments that you made. When you were elected in 2013, the city was more than $150 million in debt, and there was talk about the state and the county basically splitting up North Las Vegas and taking it over, and you said, not so fast.
Yeah. Well, Rikki, that's a good question. I grew up in North Las Vegas. I had served in the state legislature for 14 years, ended as a senator of government affairs. I came home. I was done. I had a great career, gave public service, I just couldn't see my hometown going under. And so I don't know if you could, your Girl Scout troop, your church, your school, whatever meant a lot to you in your life, I think if you could do something to preserve that for another person, you would do it. Right. That's what I thought about North Las Vegas. And so a lot of my friends called me and said, what are you doing? You're never going to fix it. You're going to have egg on your face. You're going to fail. You've had a great career. But what do you really stand for when you just take the easy route? Right. I said, I can do this. If anybody can do it, hide and watch. Right. It'll be me.
And you did it so fast. You did it within a year. How did you pull that off?
That was probably a rough year. A lot of things happened that year. It was a rough year. But I never lost sight of the goal. When you get elected to an office, there's a thing called a social contract, which means people give you money or taxes, and it's your job to return to them services. So if they want a police department, a fire department, a library, senior center, whatever they want, the pools, you give them back what they want. The city of North Las Vegas said, please save our town, help us diversify our economy, and please, Mayor, can you get the property values back up in North Las Vegas? Wasn't a hard understanding of what my requirements were. The equity in your home is the number 2 savings for retirement in America. So the people in North Las Vegas took a beating in that recession. And please hang with me long enough. I think we can do something here if we just pull together and keep a good attitude. I think we'll make it through this, and we did, and I'm blessed for that.
Yeah, well, I always tell people I was budget girl at Channel 13. For some reason, I got all of the budget stories, Clark County, North Las Vegas, Henderson, wherever something bad was happening, I was in those meetings just watching layoffs and just all of the struggles that Las Vegas the Valley, Southern Nevada was going through, just trying to stay afloat. But But North Las Vegas was hit hardest, it seems. And one of the things I brought up to people, and you tell me if this perspective is correct, North Las Vegas had such a big building boom that when the construction industry went under, you guys really took a bigger hit than maybe other municipalities did.
You could say that, but they built a new sewer plant at the time. They built a new city hall. They were putting together Craig Ranch Regional
That was before
Park.
you came on.
Yeah, those
Right.
were all things in play. But basically, really what happened is the city tried to weather the storm, not realizing how long the storm would be. The recessions had come and gone a little bit in southern Nevada, so they tried to preserve what they could. Actually, they waited way too long. If you could, hindsight proves that. But with the telling story to me, Rikki, is the first week I got there, our bond rating dropped again, and then it dropped one more time about a month later. It had dropped 18 levels. You're not even in business. That's junk. Finally, when it went junk stable, I knew we were on the right path again. But it was a tragic situation. But I can tell you that the people in North Las Vegas never gave up on North Las Vegas. And we don't want to be Las Vegas. We want to be North Las Vegas. So they hung in with me, said, Mayor, can you just make sure we can keep the schools and keep some of the senior centers open, and from there let's start building up. We did good.
Right. And another thing that you did really quickly, you really worked with the state very closely. You touched on that earlier, to make these tax credits available. That helped a lot.
Well, when it looked like it was imminent, the county and the city of Las Vegas had kind of set a line of demarcation who would take what part of North Las Vegas. But neither one of them wanted North Las Vegas, because then you got the debt,
Right.
So the state came down and looked at us, and then they shut the door one day, and I'd hired some brand new people. I had Darren Adair, who came from the CFO with Switch, and I had a lot of smarter people around me, and they basically said, Mayor, we can't fix your problems. You've got people as smarter than we have now, but you have to fix this. If you have $10 in your purse right now, Rikki, you have $10 more than the state of Nevada has. They run a very tight budget up there. You can see in education how we just work and fight for some of the services down here, mental retardation stuff. We just don't have the extra money. So the state kind of backed off a little bit and said, just how can we help you without taking you over? We went in front of the local government oversight committee. We gave them a plan. We asked them to work with us, and we met continually with the state, where there's nothing to hide when there's a problem, and so the state came through. Then the abatement process started. We were starting to attract some companies, and we would send them up to the governor's office of economic development, and there were some abatements. If they would pay so much money to the employees, and they do a lot of things, they could get some of these abatements from the state. So it's really worked out well. We have not progressed far enough in the abatements in North Las Vegas yet. It seems like the North has gotten a lot more of those tax breaks, but I think it's because their business community works closer with their local governments. But I'll hide and watch, Rikki. I'll get there. We will be famous in North Las Vegas.
What's your biggest challenge right now?
I think my biggest challenge might be apathy. People seem to think that good times are back again. Real estate's going up. A lot of things are happening. Everything that we've done in North Las Vegas has not produced any money yet, because you have to build the building, lease it out, then they pay taxes. It takes a while to get money in. So a lot of people seem to think, well, North Las Vegas is past the point now.
Well, they're seeing the construction. It's like I was watching some videos of yours, and you're driving around, and this looks like it's being built, and that looks like it's being built. So it looks like, oh, happy days are here again.
But it hasn't produced one dime yet, because they haven't changed on the tax rolls.
Right.
So the apathy is, everything's great now in North Las Vegas. It's far from it. It's far from it from all our local governments. We need to rebound just a little bit more, fix ourselves, get our budget straightened up, and then hire sensibly, and run our local governments like you would run your business or your family life. That's what we're committed to in North Las Vegas.
Like you're saying that's how you're running the city. You're running it like a business.
I am.
Yeah.
I like to do the mayor things now and then, but truthfully, I enjoy building a profitable company.
So you're talking about $20 billion?
Yeah, if you took all the assets in North Las Vegas above the ground, the street lights, the traffic lights, the sidewalks, all that kind of stuff, plus all the commercial, industrial, residential property, and the open land yet that still hasn't been built on, and then you took all the assets underneath the ground, all the franchise stuff, all the cable wires, all the sewer stuff, the fire hydrant piping, and stuff. We're a $20 billion business. And the beauty is,
Amazing.
I don't have a board of directors. I don't have to declare a dividend. My residents just say, John, just keep moving forward with us, and we do that. Our city council works very hard. and we're a good investment.
Right.
I can tell you that.
So you're a North Las Vegas kid, but you're not actually born and raised in Nevada. You're a Brit. When I went on and was kind of researching you, your dad was in the military, so you were born overseas at an air base.
My dad worked with a gentleman named Francis Gary Powers, and he got shot down over the Soviet Union on the U-2 program.
Wow.
So we were a base at Rice Air Force Base within a base. So people didn't know we were there, and I was too young to know myself. But then when the U-2 got shot down, we got sent to to Roswell, New Mexico, and then from Roswell, New Mexico to Area 51. So my father was in the secret service of sorts of the nation.
So you've seen aliens?
And I asked him one time about that at Roswell. I said, Dad, they don't, Air Force people and military people don't talk about their secrets.
My father never talked.
But he did say, well, I'll just tell you this. He goes, there's some buildings out there that seem like they're air conditioned, completely different than anywhere else, but they're highly patrolled. They have guards there. Led me to believe there's something there.
So your dad had top secret clearance too.
But it was always need to know.
Right.
If you weren't on that project, you didn't need to know,
So you got here 6 years old, North Las Vegas. What was that like as a kid?
It was great. I thought it was fantastic. We moved off a base. We moved into housing here in North Las Vegas. My first little school was Lincoln Elementary School. And I remember going there, and then Quantum McCall, and we started our lives, Jim Bridger, Rancho High School. I love North Las Vegas. I love the Boys Club. I love the people. It was just my kind of town.
Yeah, right?
So
you got out of Rancho, you didn't go to college, but you went right to work. So I loved seeing your first job. My first job was Jack in the Box. Your first job was like washing dishes?
Yeah, at the Silver Nugget. I got married the week I turned 19 years old.
Really?
Yeah, back then your dad would say, well, son, no grown man's going to stay living at my house eating my food. So you got to figure out where you're going to move. So I moved out, and I found a beautiful young girl, and we fell madly in love. And I started washing dishes at Silver Nugget, and then I realized I'd went all the way through high school, and I had nothing to show that I had any intelligence or sense. I hadn't prepared for life. I just goofed around in high school, and it kind of sent a shockwave through my system that now I've got a wife and a baby on the way. What have I done with the first 18 years of my life? You know what I mean?
Right.
So it kind of got me going. Like, I didn't want to continue the generation to generation of financial ignorance, or we only achieved to a certain point and we settled in. We got a pickup truck, we got a house, we got a job, we've made it. That wasn't for me.
Right,
and
right.
I think you, Ricky, are the same way.
Right, exactly.
So we had to self-motivate ourselves.
So you went out, you got some plumbing supplies, you opened the plumbing company, and now you're an entrepreneur on top of a politician. That's fantastic.
Pretty good life.
Yeah, right. Well, and I also loved how it just seems to me, tell me what the time span was between the time you opened your plumbing company and then what made you decide to go into public service? Because that's still, you're talking about coming from one type of background, a military background, and then deciding you don't want to just have a regular job, and then deciding I want to go out there and help the people.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that transition?
Ricky, I think whether people know it or not, their mothers have more of an impact on them than they can ever realize. In North Las Vegas, when we would see a city councilman or a mayor, I didn't know what those were, but I knew they were important people. And we're Irish. My mother was a Walsh Shannon McGlenn DRC from Butte, Anaconda, Montana. So if you were an elected official, you were somebody in that town. And my mother used to point and say, "There's Councilman so-and-so." And I used to look and go, why is my mom so enamored with that guy? What makes him make my mom stop and recognize him, So I think I got kind of drawn into politics because of how much my mother respected the people who were elected.
Wow.
And then I was doing very well in business, and I just woke up one day and I go, I'm tired of making money. It seemed like all I ever did was go in and bid jobs, collect money. It was always money, money, money. And I just said, I'm tired of making money. There's got to be more to this life than just making money. So I got Jan Jones appointed me to the Parking and Traffic Commission, and I got on the Parks and Recreation Board, then the Comprehensive Planning Board. Paul Christensen helped me get on.
Oh, I love these names.
Yeah, and I started realizing there's something here. We can really do something and make a community. So then I ran for the state assembly and won. And you mentioned I didn't go to college, and you're exactly right. But I got the greatest college education in the legislature you'll ever know. And so I ate it up. And I still, to this day, I have enough for my needs. I don't need more than I need. I have sufficient for what I want. I like people. I like issues. I like ideas, you know.
Yeah,
So, but there's nothing wrong with making money and being successful. But eventually, it gets to a point. What else can you do with yourself?
Sure. So now you just kind of went along, and then you got, elected to Assembly, elected to the Senate. Then we wanted to make that jump, maybe go to a bigger office. And what was that?
I ran for state controller once and lost. It was the first year George Bush ran, and it was just like, you ever see that cranberry wave, that cranberry drink that they have in that wave? It was a Republican year. I got drowned, you know. So, but I just always felt like I had a big-time side to me, that I could understand and rationalize situations and make calculated decisions. Now, Rikki, 60% of the time, I'm 100% right. But that last 40% I blow. But I think 60% of the time, I think I'd be pretty good at this, you know?
Well, I love your passion for what you do. When I watched you during those really, really dark days, you just never seemed to lose your enthusiasm. It's like you didn't break. I mean, people were all around you, again, screaming, the sky is falling. But you were just resolute. You're like, I'm going to turn this around.
Yeah.
This is not going to be forever. But you also made it clear that you needed people's help.
I did. I recognized in my heart that this recession was over. Nothing showed that it was over. But all that I had to go on was an impulse that there's 100 square miles north Las Vegas. 50% of it hasn't been built out yet. The other 50 is ready for it. And if I can get with those people right now that are thinking about doing something and start selling the dream and the vision of North Las Vegas, I think I can find some partners right now. I'm sensing that everybody else is still hunkered down, but if you looked at the East Coast, things were kind of getting a little bit better.
Right.
So I just got it, on my soapbox and started saying, hey, come to North Las Vegas. Recession's over. We changed a lot of the requirements it took to get a business license and a building permit.
Well,
we speeded up everything.
You made it easier. Where the city of Las Vegas, I thought, in Clark County, were making it tougher for small businesses to get in the pipeline.
And the banks were doing nothing to help. You know what I mean? It was just the private money that was out there that made it happen. So it's not so much where you are, it's where you see you need to get. Just incrementally, just move forward. So we came out of it. We're doing good, and we're going to lead.
Right.
So
it's gone from being, even with the housing market, North Las Vegas was always seen as a bedroom community where people, came and slept there and then they went out to the other. That perception, does that persist?
Okay, so let me answer that loud and clear. We are no longer in North Las Vegas a suburban community of anybody. We are our own standalone community with more assets in Southern Nevada than anywhere else. There'll be if this is where money is and this is where it's going, you better get in the middle of it because it's going to North Las Vegas. There's more new money will be made in North Las Vegas than anywhere else in this region. And if we do this right, we will move North Las Vegas to the most stable economy in Southern Nevada. So I'm just telling you that if you want to bet on something, you bet on opportunity, and it's in North Las Vegas.
Gaming is not a big thing in North Las Vegas
Gaming,
right now.
tourism, and hospitality, those are great because a lot of our residents work there. There's some great operators. But Rikki, just say you and I were married, and you're at Caesar's Palace dealing cards, and that's a good gig. And I'm next door working engineering at this hotel. But next time an airplane hits a building, guess what? We both lose our jobs again. So I think it would be wise that in North Las Vegas, if we built a manufacturing hub, if we built the inland port, if we do all those kind of things, so in the future, stay at Caesar's Palace. But if your husband can be out in North Las Vegas at one of the manufacturing companies, then they're manufacturing things that are still being sold all across the world.
The whole family doesn't
We don't
go
lose
down.
our house.
Right,
We make our water payments. We were able to have a quality of life this time. Last time was just horrible.
You seem to have a better handle on. I've grown up, and just as you have grown up here in this town, hearing people say diversify, diversify, diversify. But it seems like North Las Vegas is actually in a unique position to do what the other cities have not, and the county has not been able to do.
They've tied, except for Henderson. Henderson wants to be one of the 10 best places to live in America, and they have a great master plan out there. Andy Hapen, Jim Gibson, Deborah Marsh, all the mayors out there, they worked that plan. You can be proud to live in Henderson. But North Las Vegas has a different plan for itself. We are going to be the diversification area for this region here. And you're right. We don't have a lot of casinos. We don't care about a lot of casinos. Fact is, I'd say build more churches and less casinos.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that's the kind of people that we have in North Las Vegas. And we've already put 14 million square foot of concrete on the ground, just in industrial and commercial. My goal as mayor is to produce 100 million square feet of industrial and commercial property. That will supply so many jobs. It'll supply so many opportunities for people in North Las Vegas. In fact, I don't think we're going to have to talk about minimum wage in Southern Nevada again. A lot of those people that work at the traditional hotels and stuff are going to be gravitating to higher paying jobs in North Las Vegas. Therefore, the hotels are going to have to hire people at higher rates. I think North Las Vegas is going to make sure that people in this valley make about $15 an hour.
You talk a lot about parks. You talk about a lot about amenities, more so than any mayor that I can recall. You know, that these are the things, libraries, that make quality of life so important in North Las Vegas.
Yeah, they are. We have 32 beautiful parks. We have Craig Ranch Regional Park. It's just great. I just heard the other day that we might put the Nevada State Fair on there next year.
Really?
Huge things are happening in North Las Vegas. You know, our biggest problem, Rikki, is not so much where we are, it's the perception that people have. If you've just came here and you hear about North Las Vegas, you think that's where it's happening.
Right.
If you're 60 years old and you went to high school here and you remember the North Las Vegas, it was this bedroom community, that's what you remember. But hide and watch. It's gonna happen where everybody will see that North Las Vegas is, once again, not a suburban town of anywhere.
I was talking to some folks recently, and we had them on the show. The downtown has the same problem. Carolyn, the Goodmans have had the same problem. If you're a local and you grew up with downtown Las Vegas, you still have that whole seedy Fremont Street going. But the new people that I've met, like over the last 5 years, that's where they want to be. They would rather go downtown than go to the strip because they don't have any negative connotation.
Let me share a story with you. It's interesting. When Jan Jones put the Fremont Street Together experience, you know, her and the Downtown Business Association down there, they put all this money into this beautiful canopy, and everybody like us went down to see it one time. You know, we was amazed with it. And then we kind of went home, but the tourists would come and they'd have 5 or 6 things they wanted to do, the moving statue at the Bellagio, or, you know, or Caesars, I mean, and all the things they'd want to do. And they'd have it on their list, go to Fremont Street. And so they couldn't figure out why were people seeing everything but not Fremont Street. So they hired another company to come in. Why aren't people going to Fremont Street? Well, the reason was because they get in a cab and say, take us to Fremont Street. And the cabbie would say, you don't want to go down there, it's not safe. Untrue. It was as safe there as anywhere else, but we had to change the cabbie and the limo drivers' attitudes about what downtown was.
Right.
So my goal is to let you people out there know in Rikki's show here that North Las Vegas is not the community you think it is. It is a fast-moving industrial city now.
It's gorgeous too. I mean, just the parks and all of this. If you go, especially out in the outlying areas, there's still some pockets here and there, but North Las Vegas is a pretty community, and it always has been. I agree with you. I think that was the connotation that people had. If you grew up here, it was like, okay, there's certain parts of town that are bad. Well, those parts of town aren't bad anymore.
No, that stupid show, Nasty Boys, came out. And
wasn't that the worst?
Gangs, drugs, graffiti, Nasty Boys, you know.
In the Northtown Nasty
I will
Boys.
tell you this, though. In North Las Vegas, if you get shot by one of our police officers, you got it coming. We don't shoot and ask questions, first, but I mean, we have a great police department that protects our community.
Well, that was one of the wonderful things that came out of the Northtown Nasty Boys, was you guys went in there and you cleaned up that police department. How many cities in the country where some of the cops had their own jackets? They had their own jackets and caps that had nothing to do with the police department. They were like a gang, but there was a certain element at the time that needed to be cleaned up as well. So we can look in hindsight. Certain things had to happen. What is your priority now for North Las Vegas?
I think my priority is to spend as much time on the outskirts, now on the interior of the town, to make sure that all sections of North Las Vegas rise together. So we're just putting in a bunch of sewer and water lines out where the speedway is, where I-15 and 215 intersect. We'll have 1,100 acres out there. We got Apex going. We got a lot of things going. But we have a downtown core that now, Gina Gavin, she's our economic redevelopment director. We're making it, when you come up Lake Mead, that'll look completely different. We're going through the whole downtown area.
Wow.
I think in the next year and a half, you're going to come to North Las Vegas and go, I cannot believe this town. We've got huge things happening downtown. I think that's going to be the next real big change for us.
Okay, on a personal level now, how many, let's just start with the grandkids, because how many grandkids do you have?
Well,
I mean, he looks like a baby. When I read the number of grandkids, I was like, no way.
I've got 7 children, 1 wife, 1 beautiful, loving
and
wife.
you guys have been together for what, almost 40 years?
42 years
42
now.
years.
And I have 26 grandchildren.
No way.
Yeah, wonderful, beautiful grandchildren. So
what happens? Do they all come to your house?
I try not to get them to all come at the same time, Ricky. If I can go to their houses now, it's a better day for me. So.
Now, are they all here in Las Vegas, or?
No, Orlando,
they're spread out a
Idaho,
little bit.
Utah, Nevada. Yeah, they're close enough, though. So we see them quite often.
What is your legacy when people look back at this time? And are you going to run again for a 3rd term, or
I'm
have
not
you made
sure,
up your
Rick.
mind?
And I told people I would not run more than 2 terms. And the reason is when you make commitments to other business leaders, you have to stay with them all the way through the process. But I'm hoping maybe by then North Las Vegas can stand on its own 2 feet and I can hand the baton on to someone else and a great city council. Yeah, I like to fix things. Running an operation day to day gets kind of boring, like how many streetlights are out today or how many, whatever, dogs are in the dog pound. That's kind of a different kind of person. When you pay John Lee, you pay him to say, where are we going to be 10 years from now? You don't pay him to know exactly that day how many library books were checked out. But if I can fix it, Ricky, and someone as intelligent as you comes along and wants to be mayor, and I can pass the baton on, I would probably do it after 8 years.
Your legacy, when people look back at your time in office, what do you want them to say?
I've learned about legacies, and I'll answer that question, but usually after you're gone 2 weeks, nobody calls you anymore, or no letters come in the mail. So if you're going to work on a legacy, you're going to be very disappointed. I think the legacy would be somewhere along the line, 2 mayors from me will go, dude, this is the greatest job in America. This is great, They'll never know it was me. But in my heart, I'll know I did my best, and I surrounded myself. But if I succeed, Ricky, when my friends win. I mean, if I get to the top of the hill, that's not, who cares? But if all your friends are rising with you, I'm happy for that. One
of the events that you're going to tomorrow is it's like such a simple thing, but it's such a big thing. The Tot Lot.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What's a Tot Lot?
A house got burned down on Brook Street, and it just got knocked down. And they gave the land to the city, and it's been there for years. Kurt Clausen over at Wells Fargo, they were looking for a project, and Kurt is one of the greatest bankers.
Isn't he the greatest guys?
The greatest bankers in our state. And he said, we're looking for a project. And Gina Gavin said, I've got one. And they came in there with all their volunteers, and they made the most beautiful little community park. So tomorrow they're finishing putting the last little playground stuff together, I guess, and the fence, and they're giving it back to the city.
How neat.
Wells Fargo is a great bank for public service.
Really, yeah. And these are as we've been talking, these are the little things that make the difference. I mean, of course, you've got the big projects like Apex, but when you talk about quality of life, this is a family who can walk down to the Tot Lot.
Yes.
In safety and look at beautiful, grass and trees and all that stuff and just enjoy their lives.
I agree. And I look forward to seeing when businesses get involved with their local governments, So I'm excited about that. That happens a little bit more than you know. There are a lot of great businesses in this community.
Yeah.
And so we get a little help.
Well, John Stiles and I, our station owner, we were talking about that. The individual PR firms, they do a pretty good job of little projects, but those are the ones that we need to hear about.
Yeah.
It's the big projects, but those are the little projects that make the difference between whether you buy a house in this neighborhood or
You're right.
Whether you want to stay in a certain area. Those are the things when people are riding around, they're looking at that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of dressing up every community could do, and we probably could do more, but we have to make sure that when that person gets up to go to work in the morning, they feel they're getting their tax value for their dollar, just like somebody is in another part of the community or in the region here. So we want to make sure that happens.
Oh, and really quickly before we let you get away, I was really impressed how you got the Mayor's Club. You set up the Mayor's Club. You get all the mayors from all the municipalities together, and you guys hang out.
No, I get together and I call the mayors up and I go, so when do we meet? And they go, oh, we never meet. And I go, oh, that just ended. So we have got to get together. We go to the legislature. We've got to be able to speak as mayors. We have charters. The county doesn't have a charter. We're complete different animals, and cities need to share information, share resources, with the county too.
Sure.
But as cities, we have got to make sure our leaders are talking, because we are a region. You don't know when you're North Las Vegas, or Henderson.
Right.
So as mayors, if we can support each other and help build each other. See, and the other thing is, Rikki, it doesn't do North Las Vegas any good if a company says, we're moving out of Henderson and we want to come to North Las Vegas. That sounds good if you're in North Las Vegas, but what did you just do to everybody in Henderson, right? So I'll call the mayor up and say, hey, you got a company, they're over here kind of snipping around North Las Vegas. Why don't you figure out what their problem is, and let them stay there, because it's new money in town, it's new business, it's new growth that helps us all win. So if I win and to the detriment of another city or county, we haven't won as a team.
It's a shell game, right?
Yeah, so it doesn't make sense to do that, and I don't do that.
Right. And then it's like the mayor's club. That's way cool.
They're fun people too.
They really are. You've got a good group. Well, thank you. North Las Vegas Mayor John Lee has been my guest today on Live Las Vegas with Rikki Cheese. And the truth of the matter is, I just wanted to hang out with him on a happy note, because I hung out with him. It's like almost like all during those horrible times. It's like, we just need to talk about some good stuff happening in North Las Vegas and get the word out about the turnaround.
And we've done it.
Yes, and we've done it. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we'll be right back with another city that's doing some really cool things. You mentioned Henderson.
Yes.
They've got a new event that's coming up this week, which is going to be amazing, a festival that's happening out there. Another, Las Vegas native who's trying to turn things around, the perception of Water Street, and just kind of doing some cool things. So, yeah, this is a happy show. We'll be right back.
Crazy Terry here with your car care tip of the day. So it's not a bad idea every now and then to check your battery. If you don't know how to do it, have somebody check it for you. Just a visual inspection can tell you a lot about your battery. So as we can see here, this battery's got a hold down. It's nice and tight. The cables are on. They don't look bad. We've got a cover. We don't see any corrosion. Everything's kind of tight, looking good. A little bit of dirt, that's normal, but nothing's leaking, no real cause for alarm here. So that's a good sign. Doesn't mean it's good, but at least visually we know that it's intact. Okay, so we're looking at a battery here that shows signs of corrosion. We want to test that battery to make sure it's good. Usually when they're getting like this, there's going to be a problem, leaking some acid at the top. We ran the test and we find out it has 396 cold cranking amps, but the battery requires 650. So it's just not enough. The battery is going to go soon. Better to know now than later. Okay, so the benefits of checking the cable is because this cable's rotted out. What we'll find is this is the problem, not the battery. So it'll save you from buying a battery, still having the no start, only to find out that it's a cable. This type of corrosion is common in diesels. Okay, so we're getting ready to jump the car, but we have to have some battery cables. And we have to check those too before we hook them up to the battery. So here we have our standard set of battery cables. We just look them over, see if the ends are frayed, if everything's connected all right. Everything looks good here. Wouldn't hurt to check the rest of the cable just to make sure the dog didn't get it and chew it up. We have red and black. Red's positive, black's negative. You always want to hook the positive up first and then the negative. And I'll show you how that's done right now. Keep these off to the side so they're not touching each other. Hook up your positive. You can find that right here by the plus sign, the negative sign. Plus is positive, red. Make sure that's securely hooked up. Keeping these away from each other. Hook up your negative cable. Just got to fight it on there. Figure out a way to get it. Wiggle it a little bit so it ensures a good connection. Now you're transferring voltage. If I hit these two together, we're going to spark. Kind of want to avoid that. Won't kill you. Kind of fun. A lot of people think if they can turn the headlights on, the battery's fine. That's not always the case. It takes very little amperage to turn a light on, but it takes a lot of amperage to start the starter. I recommend checking the charging system every oil change. At Sun Valley Automotive, there's never a charge for that. This is Crazy Terry with your car care tip of the day.
One thing about today's show is I'm still getting to talk about my two favorite cities in Las Vegas, in Southern Nevada. Henderson and North Las Vegas. You just heard from North Las Vegas Mayor John Lee talking about all the great things that are happening out in his part of the valley. On the other part of the valley, he was giving props out to Henderson. He was just talking about how great, they kind of hold Henderson on like a pedestal. It's like, we want to be Henderson when we grow up one day. And one of the things that is happening in Henderson, these two guys are a big part of a brand new festival in Henderson. So, you heard about this Friday, that Friday downtown. Now we have last Friday at, I'm sorry, I keep getting this one part.
It's a mouthful.
Just add Water Street. Last Friday, just add Water Street. I've got Chef
Say that
Antonio
3 times
fast. And I've got Wyndham Kinsey, who is the owner of Public Works Coffee Bar, the coffee bar owner. First of all, I love the story, but what made you decide to take this on? Because, Water Street, let's be honest, Water Street was kind of looking a little shady for a while there.
It used to be the hub of Henderson.
Right.
It was, growing up as a kid, and I'm a Vegas kid, born and raised in Vegas, but lived out in Henderson for years, and, we spent all of our time on Water Street. My mom was actually raised out in Water Street. My cousin, I have a lot of family that still live within the Water Street district.
Right.
And it was just like our meeting place. My aunt still works on Water Street, and it just went from this big hub of like parades and people gathering and community, and that was it. It was community. It was the small town feel.
It was a little small town, right?
Yeah. And people knew each other. They hung out. They went to the movies, and that's what it was. And it's gone. It's Green Valley opened up, and it kind of just pulled a little bit of that away. And then Summerlin and Town Center kind of pulled some of that away, and then everyone just kind of left. It was left on its own.
And I love the perception, like meeting new people, that Henderson is all Green Valley. It's like, no, there's old Henderson. There's like the core of Henderson. Those are the suburbs.
Yeah, people don't even realize that Water Street even exists.
Right.
If they're from Green Valley, we've had people that move in from California, from all over the country, and what are you talking about, Water Street? Where's that? You go to Lake Las Vegas every day, you don't know where Water Street is?
I know, right? I know, isn't that sad? Well, as of this weekend, on August 25th, everybody's going to know where Water Street is.
Yes.
So tell me what you've got planned.
So what we did is we've spent the last year and a half trying to put this together, and we've met great people like Wyndham and Tim Brooks, and a lot of these people really support Water Street. It helped us kind of get a pedestal to get this going. So we created a platform of a First Friday called Last Friday.
Right.
So we've traveled from London to Hawaii. We've hit everything in between and did all these Last Fridays, First Saturdays, and we took these platforms and figured out the best of what they were, and then added our spice to it. I'm a chef, so we're always like trying to make things a little bit different.
Right.
So what we did was we built that platform, very family friendly. Great music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. So it really builds into the whole family build. We have the DJ, which it's not like a lot of hip hop or house music. They'll spin 70s, 80s, and 90s, which is great. We have James Tormé coming in to do the inaugural, opening up. We have a VIP section, which is a little bit different than most events. And then everything else is free to the community. We have a chef fight, of course.
Right, of course.
So we're bringing in Chef Scott Cummings. He'll be taking on one of the executive chefs at Westgate. They'll go head to head. We'll do the whole secret platter and pick everything out for them and let them go. And they have 45 minutes to create a couple dishes and get it out to the judges. The thing that we're doing different on this is because I've seen these, I've done them, and I just don't like the way the judging is. So we're taking all the judges away. They will not know what they cook, how they set it up, nothing. So when the plate goes down, they're not going to know. So there's no favoritism. There's nothing.
Right, it's they don't get to watch their technique, and I like that one better.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just going to be full taste, full visual, full everything, and you have no bias to it. You can't favor this chef over another chef because you don't know who cooked what.
Yeah.
So that's one of the key ingredients that we've really wanted to get this part going. Live art activations. So we're playing with some different stuff as it evolves. We've came up with a concept called musical painting, like musical chairs. So we'll set up like 8 chairs, and we're doing a hard set this one, and then we're going to evolve it into the next one. But basically, you're going to go around. You have a minute to put an impression on a paint. On a canvas, and then in that minute you have to go to the next seat, and then the next seat, and the next seat, and wherever you end up, you take that picture home. So everyone in that group has an impression of everyone else.
So I love that, because when I was trying to get my head around when I was reading about interactive, it's like, well, what all is the audience going to be able to do? But that is perfect.
Yeah, just little things like that. We have Mad Batter Cafe coming out. She's actually baking cookies, and Public Works is going to be in the same area with them, giving out drinks and stuff, but she's going to do the cookies, and they'll be able to decorate the cookies. We have a kid activated area where the kids can go and paint and hang out. Bounce houses. We have an over 21 area where that we'll have like life-size Jenga, cornhole, that whole thing kind of going on. We have an on-site recording studio.
Oh, wow.
So there's just a ton of stuff that we've built into this to really make it take precedence in Vegas and Henderson as the Valley, and hopefully get everyone out here again and get them to support Water Street.
Yeah.
I mean, we got people like Wyndham that's putting a ton of money into Water Street,
Right.
and we want to make sure that we can do whatever we can to support it, and we're looking to put some stuff on Water Street and bring it back to where it needs to be.
So what have you seen? How long have you been in business on Water Street, and what have you seen over?
Yeah, we moved our office down there I built the building,
Okay.
and Public Works Coffee's part of it. I own the architecture firm that's upstairs, so it's sort of this relationship between coffee, beer, wine, architecture. But
I don't know about that.
my mom's warned
is the
me
building
already.
straight?
Yeah, now we know why the Leaning Tower of Pisa is crooked.
But but down in Water Street, we've been down there with our staff. We've got, including the coffee shop and everything, we've got almost 40 people.
Wow.
So we came down there. We built a building.
And what made you decide to go to Henderson?
Well, and we've had our office in Henderson for a long time, and we were selected as architects to work on the Henderson Space and Science Center,
okay.
which was they were going to put it over by the Henderson Hospital. And I kept scratching my head. I'm like, it's a museum, a cultural thing. Why would you put it over by a hospital? It just seems a little weird. And so our firm said, hey, let's host a charrette downtown Henderson and talk about Water Street, downtown. I use the word downtown a lot because it is the downtown. I mean, Green Valley is Green Valley. It's all Henderson, but the Water Street district is the downtown. And so we did this charrette, and we looked at all these things, and we talked about things that could happen with the plaza. They spent a lot of money. Henderson has actually invested a lot. The recession really pulled the plug on a lot of things that they had going for redevelopment.
Right.
And so I think a lot of people go like, well, redevelopment hasn't happened. The recession made a lot of things not happen, but as things come, coming back to life, what I saw in that process was an opportunity to we had identified all these different things that need to be down there, but and one of the things like what Antonio's putting together and his group is absolutely amazing, because the city's built the infrastructure for the plaza and all this stuff, and it's made for cultural events for
It's
the
a
community,
beautiful
right?
Yes.
venue. It really
And so,
is.
so what made us go down there is I just said, why don't we move down here? Why don't we move our office down here? Show people, Henderson helps you out. There's redevelopment funds that assist with building and tenant improvement and signage and all these things. So we took advantage of it, came down, worked with the city, and phase one of my project, phase two, is going to be residential and more office. And so all these things sort of work together, right? Like Tim Brooks was one of my mentors. He's the owner, him and his brother, of Emerald Isle Casino. And he is completely invested in, I just feel if you've got a group of people that are all kind of rowing together, a lot of great things can happen in the direction it's heading in. So,
Well, and what I love about your focus is, and Mayor Lee talked about this briefly, whenever you see the lists and the surveys that are done about what a great city that Henderson is to live in, I think that a lot of the people are basing that on Green Valley. They're not, it's like it is the suburbs, and then that's really beautiful and everything. But that's what I really loved about this festival when I first found out about it. And let me just tell you the truth. So yesterday morning, because both of these companies, we're kind of just getting started, so we're not on a lot of people's PR lists. So I go on social media and I see you two hanging out all over town. And then you're talking about the event. And I'm just like, well, we got to get them on WWDB TV. And this is like around 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sweating. I'm just like, I don't know who these people are, and I got to find them. So at first I'm trying to find you, and I can't find your email or anything. And then finally the light bulb goes off, and it's like, well, he has his own company. I'm going to go hunt him down over there. And then your folks were just really, grateful to get you on. And I really love that you came on. I'm very, because you didn't have a lot of notice.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important, and it's important to me personally as a Las Vegan, is now that things are turning around, because, it was so dark for so long. Everything that's good and fun, I want to promote. If it's good and fun, contact me. I'll give you some airtime. We need to have a good time again and enjoy, because this community is such a great community. I mean, I'm sure you're seeing that in the people who are coming forward to help you guys get this event on.
Yeah, we have my whole board that we assembled they're a great group, but I have my company that we do on the side, or it's my bread and butter basically.
Right. You know your job.
Yeah. But my partner's he sits on my board as well, but he's taken like the mainstay of running that company as to where he's let me focus on this, which is a blessing. And then we have partners with Greenspun, Ava Rose Agency, Eco Life Development, and all these guys have 60-hour work weeks, and then they donate another 40 to this every week. And right now we're down to crunch time, and everyone's just like on board, and we're all doing it for free. We're not making anything from this. Right. It's just to get something going so we can have that, and hopefully it'll just carry over like First Friday did for Vegas.
Yeah.
Just go on for years.
And the key word here is free, and that it's a nonprofit that's going to benefit nonprofits.
Yeah, we're not for profit.
We're not for profit.
Yeah. So we do, all of our stuff goes towards charities, and every month we'll pick 3 different charities until we get to the point we're developing our websites right now, and each board member picks 4 charities, and then at the end of the day, after we pick our 4, then we have to figure out the top 3. So we pull out of the hat and figure out what those are. But again, we're community active, so the idea behind picking the 4 was we want to put it on the website and then let the community vote. So the top 3 will go to the top,
right,
and the community picked it.
Right.
So
fantastic.
Again, you're interacting with the community, and you want them to do it and have that say-so. And it's smaller ones that we really try to focus on. We do have some bigger ones that we'll do whatever we can for, but the smaller ones that don't get noticed a lot are the ones that we really want to try to help out.
Well, this is an amazing event, you guys. It is this Friday, August 25th, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at the Henderson Events Plaza, 200 South Water Street. It's such a great venue. It's easy to park. And,
we have valet.
That was the thing I had to get in. It's like, you have valet? Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, why would you? It's Vegas. I'm sorry,
it's Henderson. It's Henderson.
Right. So, what stays in Henderson.
Right.
But you don't have to pay for parking.
No, there's free community parking.
Okay.
So we have a 4-story parking garage, again secured, camera lit, and everything else. So, again, that stigmata of what it's old, it's this, it's that. I walk downtown Henderson all the time, and I don't see any problems ever. But there is free parking all the way around it. Casinos and the convention center. You can even use Public Works.
Yeah,
they're
That's
right there.
There's a parking lot right there.
But we do have valet. We wanted to have that convenience of being able to pull in, park your car, and walk away, and then grab your car and get out and go. And we're working with some sponsors, so you might have some stuff in there they might drop a couple gifts in your car on your way out.
See, hold on. This is when you know you love your guests. When you get serious swag like this when they come to show up. As much as I love Mayor Lee, did he have swag? No swag.
But did he have swagger?
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. Perfect. And they all know each other, so it was like old home week outside in the lobby. But thank you guys for being on.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting this festival together. I love this. Last Friday in Henderson, a different take, but a different mood in downtown Henderson, and just a neat event, so that it's worth it for everybody out there. If you're in Summerlin or you're out there in Centennial Hills, make that trip across the town and see something different. Just kind of get out there and explore. extend your range. And it's free. Thank you for joining us on Live Las Vegas with Rikki Cheese.